Hi, everyone. It's Lori from Crystal Earth Magic. Today, I want to talk about authenticity, being your authentic self. What does that even mean? How do we even know if we're doing it? Well, number one, as we move along in this shift, as we move along in our evolution, our ascension, we find that when we examine ourselves, that we may have been doing a lot of things for other people. We may have been acting in certain ways. We may have been going along with certain things. We may have been not speaking our truth in order to please other people in our lives and at the detriment to ourselves. How do we know when we're being authentic? Because we have that feeling of excitement inside of us. We have that feeling of being our true self. And you know that feeling when you're in that zone and you know that you're being authentically you. It doesn't mean you have to be nasty and stand on your soapbox and just, regurgitate all of your beliefs. It means that you are standing in a place of compassion, putting yourself number one in that compassion. You're compassionate for yourself. You are loving of yourself. You know that you are the best version of yourself that you can be. You know that you are the only authority for yourself. And there are certain activities that no longer resonate with us, right? As we shift and change, this happens, and it has to. We can't stay the same and be evolving. There are certain people that don't resonate with us anymore. Let that be okay. Again, we don't have to be nasty. We don't have to be combative or anything like that. We just need to be our authentic self. And if something doesn't resonate with us, give ourselves permission not to go along with it. And that's okay. That is okay. That is the best way that we can stand in our own truth. That is the best way that we can be there for ourselves during these times. Because if we let other people siphon away our energy, then we're not being our authentic self. If we let people siphon our energy away, we are not living to our full power because we're diminished. We're diminished. Again, as with everything that we do, we need to be completely full first in order to serve others. When we do that, everything just flows naturally. I always akin it to filling your teapot first so that you can easily and effortlessly serve others. If your teapot is empty, how do you serve others? You're empty, okay? And a lot of us for many, many decades, perhaps lifetimes, have been operating from that perspective. That we have to please others first, all of the religions teach that, all of, that we've heard that our whole life from school, from our parents, from our grandparents, from society, that we have to worry about other people first. How do we do that in an empowered way? It doesn't work. And we're realizing now that that is not the formula for success in any way. That is not the formula for being authentic. You came to Earth with talents and assets and gifts and all of these beautiful things that are uniquely you. And without your talents and gifts and assets and all of the beautiful things you brought to Earth, the symphony of creation is incomplete here on Earth. You brought all these things. So what is it that is authentically you? And just like in previous videos talking about following your joy, that's where it starts. You have to learn what brings you joy. Who are you really? And if you don't know, again, we're all on this journey of discovering who we really are and being our authentic selves. But if you don't know, you need to be clear and still and listen for some guidance. What is it? Go inside. If we take the time to be still and go inside, we'll start on that little journey that becomes a larger journey and a larger journey to being our authentic selves. It doesn't mean that you have to say things that people aren't going to be able to hear. If people have no resonance for what you're going to say, then it's going to fall on deaf ears, and as Yeshua, Jesus said, don't throw pearls before swine, and that's not meant in a negative way. It's just meant that they can't possibly understand you if they have no resonance for it. On our journey, we have found that we have been the people who didn't understand what others were trying to say. And they, have been labeled as crazy or whatever. And perhaps we have been as well on our journey when we say something that doesn't resonate with other people. Knowing when to be silent and knowing when to speak your truth. Again, that does not mean to suppress your truth. It does not mean to say what other people want to hear, at the risk of harming yourself or being less than who you are, but being your authentic self. When people ask you for an opinion, give them your real opinion. You will find a lot of times when people ask for your opinion, they just want you to agree with what they believe. I find that too, a lot of times working with clients. They want me to say what they believe. They don't really want to hear the truth. But then there are those who do. And, again, it's a balancing act, but finding your authentic self, not just giving lip service to things just to keep the peace. Staying silent is the better route in that case, in my opinion. But how do we be authentic? Number one, we know who we are. That's going to take some inner work. We know what brings us joy. That's going to take some inner work for many of us. And again, you may be shifting your relationships and your activities and even your careers because you can't be your authentic self in whatever situation you found yourself in. It's just so important in these times of great shift and change, when we have all of this help for our evolution. We have so much energy available to us cosmically for our evolution that we take advantage of this and we use it to the fullest and we start being authentic. What is it you want to do today? Are you doing it for you, or are you doing it out of duty or obligation? Sometimes we can marry the two. And that's okay. There are things that we have to do, but we can frame it as, oh, look, I get to do this, not I have to do this. If it's something that you absolutely do not want to do, doesn't resonate with you, I don't care who is influencing you to do that. You need to honor yourself. Start small. Maybe there's Christmas parties or work parties, whatever, that you don't want to go to. So don't. You don't have to give any excuses. Just be your authentic self. If there are activities you do want to do and no one wants to do them with you, then go and do them. Don't be afraid of doing things alone. Think of how many other people are out there wanting to do things and afraid to do them alone. What if you all went and did what you really wanted to do and you met each other and now you have new friends? That resonates. Do you see what I mean? It's like every little step that we take, every action that we take leads to another action and another action and another action. And we never know when the synchronicity of us following our authenticity and our joy leads to exactly what we've been looking for through synchronicity. We may meet the people that we need to meet. We may find ourselves in places that we really need to be. We may end up receiving messages that we really need to receive in order to help us on our journey. But we can't do that if we're not being authentic. If we're living for someone else, if someone is leading us around by the nose, as happens many, many times with friends, family, especially in interpersonal relationships with spouses, a significant others, children, all of those kinds of things. There always has to be a happy medium. Certainly there are always things in life that we don't particularly love doing, but we can reframe it as, okay, I get to do this, or, oh, I can do this and it makes this person happy. Certainly we can do that. But there are also plenty of things that absolutely assault our sensibilities that we feel that we have to do. And that is not being authentic. Also, again, the relationships thing, we've been going through this for many years, those of us on this journey, that our relationship group is changing, our friends are changing. Let that be okay. As the holidays come around and there are more and more of these gatherings with people that you probably haven't interacted with a whole lot in the last few years, but yet here's this gathering, and be authentically you. It's not that you are trying to prove how much you have changed if you do go to these events, but you're being authentically you. Don't let yourself slip into old patterns that have a lower vibration. Don't find yourself gossiping or, hanging out with people that have a low vibe just because you want to fit in. It all stems from self-love. When we love ourselves, we can be our authentic selves. We give ourselves permission. We're not trying to please anyone else. We're not trying to be in favor. We're not trying to, be popular, whatever it is. When we are our authentic selves, we're giving ourselves permission to be who we truly are. And guess what? We are all needed in this journey. Your voice is needed in the symphony of creation. It cannot be complete without you. So if you're living for someone else or by someone else's rules, you're not being your authentic self. And so your beautiful note is not being played in the symphony of creation. So just a little note, especially as the holidays come around, that this thing rears its head. And, you know, we like to say rears its ugly head, but in this case, it's an opportunity for us to evolve. It's an opportunity for us to get to really know ourselves. And it's an opportunity for us to truly, authentically love ourselves so that we can be our authentic selves. The world is waiting for your light. Anyway, this is Lori with Crystal Earth Magic. I hope that was a helpful tip, and I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.